Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Andrew. This is
Brayden. Hola.
And this is the
ExtraAmo Podcast. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. You love that. Don't even do that. Don't even look at me like that.
All right.
Anyway, like and subscribe so you can hear my amazing singing again. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba.
All right, guys. So we are here at Coastal Defense in Auburn, Maine, which is actually the gun store that I help run. So here we are. It's fantastic. It's after hours, so as he said, we are a little tired. It's been a long day.
Yes.
But today we wanted to talk about something in particular, right?
Whisper pickles.
Oh, I thought we were talking about 22 long rifle.
I thought we were talking about 308 core lock tipped.
Nobody talks about 308 core lock tipped. What are you, like 80?
I am. You should buy core lock and only core lock. If you buy any other type of brand of ammo, you're a fool.
And remember, guys, if it isn't a 30-06, it's definitely not enough to hit your 90-pound deer in Maine. It's the only thing that'll do it, bud.
From 20 yards away.
Yeah, it's the only thing that's going to do it. Get the job done.
Basically walked up and touched my bird feeder, you know?
All right.
Okay.
Let's get serious here.
We're talking about suppressors, Andrew.
Yes, suppressors. It's about to be Thanksgiving.
It is. Yep.
Thanksgiving, and depending upon how quickly I edit this one, because I edit the podcasts, which means I usually just upload it to a website and have that website use AI to edit it, which is awesome. Any hoozle.
He just doesn't want to pay
as soon as I heard you don't pay you. I pay you when you work here, which is kind of cool. That's but not so much when you work on the podcast stuff. However, when I get this up, which might be before or after Thanksgiving, right after that is a special day, which is Black Friday, and we're running some sales in the shop. I should probably not totally shill for the shop, right? It's a podcast. They don't want to hear about that.
If you want to know the Black Friday deals, go to coastaldefense.com and sign up for the email list. And then that will then email you out our special deals. And I heard there's a little thing, if you're a sign-up person, you get a little special thing too, possibly, maybe. I don't know. You should do it. You should definitely do it.
That was an awesome plug that he just did, but it is coastaldefensemaine.com.
Coastaldefensemaine.com.
Maine spelled like the state that we live in.
I was testing them. To make sure they actually listen to us.
Gotcha. All right. Well,
I know how to spell.
It's the holiday season. And after the holiday season, Thanksgiving and then Christmas or Hanukkah or other holidays that exist.
A day, yep.
It will be January.
Yes.
And what happens in January 1st, Brayden?
No longer will we have to pay that $200 tat stamps. The process stays the same, but it's a $0 stamp.
And just to be clear, that is no longer paying the transfer tax on silencers, short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, or AOWs, I think, which is any other weapon for those of you who might not know. It does remain for machine guns, though. Bummer.
I wish I had that $50,000 to buy a fully automatic MP5. Actually, I think when I last looked at it, it hit over $100,000 now.
They're expensive. They're expensive.
Crazy.
Machine guns are definitely expensive. But all NFA items having an additional $200 charge for permission from the government, because that's what it is, to effectively transfer it from an individual to, say, an individual, or an individual, or I should say a shop to an individual, or between a trust and an individual and trust. Those are the only things I would think would be the transfer tax. So having to pay that $200, not having to pay that is really cool.
Yeah.
Do you think that a lot of people are going to be motivated to perhaps get their first can?
I'll be honest with you. When I got my first can, having that additional $200 charge helped me pick out a can. Like, because I had a certain budget, right? And I was making that tat stamp part of the budget. And thankfully, I got a really good can. I got a Sandman K. Silencer Shop at the time was running a sale on it. So with the tat stamp, I paid roughly about $9.99.
Okay.
I think something like that. So like, I feel like a lot of people who were worried about that being a part of that type of budget suppressor and all that stuff don't really have to worry about an additional $200 charge anymore. Like they can just own the suppressor that they've been wanting. It also, in my mind, has affected price in my head too on certain suppressors.
Yeah, no, I mean, having to figure in for a $200 charge for the transfer definitely, as you say, like sculpts, your overall budget for these things. 22 cans, which are usually far less expensive, starting at the $250 and going, well, you can spend a lot on a 22 can, but generally those are half the price, or even less than other suppressors. But, you spend $250 on a can, and then you have a $200 transfer tax, and that kind of sucks. So it is nice that we won't have to have that going forward. And I think that it will open the door for some selection. I think a lot of people are going to get into this. In fact, as a store, we've been bulking up our inventory. We've got quite the selection now, which is cool. But I think...
Check out our website.
Yes, where there is some, if not most, of our inventory. Again, depending on how long it takes me to edit this. We are putting our NFA inventory up there, which is cool. Now, there's that. That definitely changes how we look at can selection, suppressor selection.
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
So, obviously, you've been in the suppressor game longer than I have, right? How do you feel about that? About it dropping down to that $0?
Well,
what's your guess on how the next year of the firearm industry and suppressor industry is going to go?
Okay, so there's a lot of pieces to that, and I want to get into it. Firstly, I think demand's gonna go through the roof.
Yeah,
that's absolutely first thing. People are gonna want to get in and save that $200. The issue with that is that's going to cascade. A lot of people are going to come in, and they're going to start doing it. People are going to hear about that, and then everybody's going to rush in to get their first suppressor or add something to their collection. Yeah. I've got some that I'm waiting until January just to save myself $200, right? Yeah. I don't know if you've got any that you kind of want to wait for the
I do,
transfer, but I know a lot of people who are doing that who are already very invested. And then there's the people who have never bought a suppressor that are going to rush out January 1st and buy something. And we, honestly, I mean, it's a good time to buy suppressors. There's a lot of technology. There's a lot of brands that, because of the fast turnaround time, have kind of gotten into the game and really established themselves. There's different technologies that exist, and all of them are widely available now. You don't have to spend a ton of money to get cans that are rated for 5.56 and short barrels anymore. You don't need to go crazy. And if you want to go crazy, you get some really cool features, right? Flow through is awesome. That's how a lot of cans are going. 12 gauge suppressors are a thing that is readily available now, which is sweet.
You saw this one on our YouTube video.
Yes, I do. Genesis. I do have that on the Genesis Arms. If you haven't seen that video, go watch it, please. Repeatedly. And you have specialized ones like this one, who's it's the Dead Air Wolverine.
Yep, so AK.
For AKs, which is kind of cool. It's specially designed for that. So there's a lot of selection and availability out there in a way that it wasn't before. Because for the last 2 years, response times have been days or weeks, not months to years.
I waited 9 months for my first can back in 2022, I believe. That's when I got my Sandman K here.
Yep.
I waited nine months.
Yeah, I think the longest one I waited on was 10 or 11 months. So around same ballpark. I didn't cross the year mark, but I was like, it's going to happen.
Yeah, I was really hoping it wasn't going to happen.
But, I've gotten cans back in a few days. I think you have too now, which is cool. But with the influx in January, we're probably going to see those times go way up. And that's sort of my concern. I'm concerned that, everybody's going to wait until January, they're going to rush out, and there's going to be a huge, demand, but not necessarily supply, because I don't think that you can turn the supply up on these anymore.
Yeah.
Right. For the last few years, because of that quick response times, approval times is what they usually call it. I mean, every manufacturer is making as many as they possibly can.
Oh,
and I still am waiting 3 months, 6 months, 10 months to get them in stock for the shop that I've ordered already. A lot of the higher end brands specifically, like CAT, Combat Application Technology, that comes to mind. I'm always waiting for those to be available. Or, Sig Sauer, love them or hate them, you got to order way in advance to get the Sig stuff. And we just got a bunch of those in, but I ordered them, 6 months ago nearly.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, not even on their suppressors. Like, the reason we have my MCETs here is because it's an SBR that we ordered directly from Sig, and it kept getting back ordered, 5 months? Like, they just didn't have the time to make it.
So it's a little different. So I bet if you were a regular consumer, you would have got the SBR a little faster.
Yeah.
So mostly they build to order for dealers.
Yes,
so we did custom order that. But yeah, they said like December. Then they said January.
Right.
What do we got?
Yeah.
It was end of February, March or something?
I got it. We got it in the shop around the springtime because I remember coming in and it just had downpoured and cleared out the rest of the snow. And I was like, wow, this day is awesome. There's no more snow on the ground. This is great. And then I walk in and you look at me and be like, guess what came in?
Yes, and I do try to get you as excited as possible because, this job is miserable otherwise, right? Yeah. We have to play with guns all day.
For us.
Oh, it's the worst.
Gun oil.
Yeah, it's the worst smell on the planet.
Yeah, it gives me a headache.
It's just horrendous. But, yeah, so that's an SBR. So come January 1st, that'll be a $0 transfer.
I didn't mean to change you off topic, but it's just, it's a part of the MITs,
Oh, yeah?
It's a part of the MITs.
Absolutely, and these changes are really cool. So I guess the question I have for you, and I have my own opinions, is should I, as a new buyer or somebody who's established, should I wait until January 1st to start shopping?
It's hard. Here at the shop, there's a couple of us here that own suppressors, taught suppressors every day to people. And I got asked that question by somebody. It wasn't their first can. It was like their whatever number can. But I said to him, I was like, it really depends on what you feel is best. I feel like if people wait until January, there's a lot of people waiting until January. Because remember, it's not just us here in the state of Maine. It's a bunch of different states that suppressors are allowed in.
Yeah, like a bunch of them. And if you go to the Silencer shop website, they have T-shirts that say legal in at least this number of states.
And so my worry is if you wait until January, you might be waiting a while because of the influx. Because remember, it's not all computerized where one person hits a button and it does 100 people at a time. It's separate employees at wherever the ATF, different departments, whatever it might be, and then I go deep into it. I'm like, okay, what if the person who does SBRs, there's only 2 people. One of them is on vacation.
Yep.
Right? Now you're just down to one person doing 150 SBRs.
Wait, hold on, Brayden. You are telling me that the ATF doesn't put all of their funding into getting us our constitutionally protected tools
you are
as
correct.
Quickly as possible? So next thing you're going to tell me is that there's this antiquated website that was looks like it was designed in the 90s that you have to go through and upload things. And
I can't tell if you're talking about the NITS background check system or the ATF.gov forms.
I mean,
because they look the same to me.
Pick a winner. I mean, it's both, right? But you're absolutely right.
That's the stuff I think about. It's just I wanted to wait until January for my SBR, but I'm already impatient. I don't want to wait longer for it.
Right.
We talked about, a couple months into it being here, you were like, we should really get the paperwork started. Mm-hmm. And it's if it was a suppressor, I might think a little bit differently on it. I might be okay waiting for it. Mm-hmm. But this is my training gun. I want to have this in my hands. I want to throw rounds down it immediately. I don't really want to wait longer. it's just...
Whoa, okay, Brayden.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to call your bluff on this, but it's getting colder in the state of Maine, ladies and gents.
Oh, Jesus.
And I will tell you any day of the week that I'm kind of a wimp when it comes to the cold. But Mr. Brayden here has told me repeatedly that he will not come out to my range when there's snow on the ground, even though I've got a nice propane heater.
Okay, all right, we're going down this road. All right, I have no body fat. Personal fact about Brayden here. I have no body fat. You can see
Fat
this.
shaming me,
Yeah.
ladies and gents.
Oh, shut up. Okay. I'm thin as a bone. Okay. I'm cold sitting here right now. I'm cold, right? And we're in a building with the heat on. Okay. And this heater he left it outside. It fell over and bent. Okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't work anymore because it's a little bent. Okay, all right, okay.
It's bent like this, so it's not really pushing the heat down on the people. I think we should talk about the shack. I think we should tell the viewers about the shack idea.
Well, the shack is a secret. It's a secret shack, Brayden. We can't let them in on the secret shack just yet, but stay tuned, folks.
So sad.
Regardless, yeah, obviously, you want it sooner rather than later. You can start familiarizing yourself with it, dry fire. In fact, they make a Mantis system for this. So the Mantis is a dry fire thing. It's actually kind of cool. Battery is in the... Well, yeah, but do you have the MCX one?
Yes, I do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you preempted that.
I preempted that. Yeah,
wow.
I want to have it.
All righty. Well, I like mine, so it's a cool system. Now,
I stole his.
You might have. I don't keep a very good inventory of a lot of my tools, so... He might have. But
stuff like that, it's important to have, you know? Like, this is my main gun. Obviously, as Andrew brought up, I am not able to go shooting every time, so being able to dry fire in my office or in my garage is always awesome.
I mean, definitely. However, we talk about this. And obviously, you know, you have been, this is like on layaway, you're paying it off or something like that. Now, I know we're offering it. I know most places are offering it. You don't have to wait for most places to pick out your can and get it basically reserved. I know just about everywhere I've talked to, if you buy the can now or even, you know, buy most of the can or put a deposit down, they'll hold it for you in January.
Yeah.
Right? So you could shop now. And then, you know, have it. And it was similar to this. I mean, we're probably going to fill out the paperwork for this beforehand, right? Get it done. Yeah. But even if we didn't, this is here for you. Like, sorry, viewers, you come into the shop, you can't buy Brayden's SBR. Not sure why anybody would want yours.
I will fist fight you.
But if they did, you know, because you're the more popular of the two of us, obviously, people love you. They wanted to buy the SBR. You'd have to get a different SBR.
Yeah.
Not this one.
This one sadly has my spittle on it, so it's part of my DNA.
Okay, well, you're kind of being weird, but yes, we've reserved that. But most places will reserve the cans for January.
I've only talked to a couple other places around us that are doing that. You know, obviously, like Andrew said, not everyone's doing that. We're kind of doing that with our layaway system and all that here at Coastal, but it you know, it's always good to ask your local gun shop, see what they're doing, ask them questions. You know, I mean, I don't know about you. I've done maybe only a little bit of research of what possibly could happen because I want to know more about what will happen in January and understand it better. One, for us here at the shop, but two, for myself, for when I want to purchase another SBR or I want to purchase another can or whatever it might be. I want to be prepared to know how it's going to work, you know?
So realistically, and I, you know, the ATF has given us a demo website. I've dug into it a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is actually like kind of cool of them. This is the first change I've been tuned in on where they've actually like preempted this with a like, hey, these things are changing. Go ahead and play with this so you can know. So I mean, as much as we all hate the ATF, because let's be real here, guys, all gun laws are unconstitutional. Okay. Right, shall not be infringed is not vague. All right, it's absolute. Okay, but you know, I mean, hey, the ATF, right? Like alcohol, tobacco, firearms, or actually, it's what the BATFE, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, which
Listen.
is super cool. Which really just sounds like kind of a convenience store.
I forget who they are constantly, so
Yeah, I mean,
I won't.
I'll call them the AFT occasionally, if I'm feeling like a former president. Any hoozle, guys, they've given us the demo website. And inside of that demo website, there's a few things that are kind of cool. It really kind of seems like the process isn't going to change very much.
That's nice.
But there are more, I guess, like self-service functions, right? Transitioning between, so like if you did it as an individual, you want to put it in a trust. Seems like that's a little bit easier than it was previously.
Oh,
Also,
I like that because I have a couple cans I would like to put as a trust instead of individual because I didn't know any better at the time.
right, and I've always said, it's certainly through Silencer Shop with their like single shot trusts, like that's the way to go. But with no transfer payment now, I'm thinking that I will probably take many of my cans and put them in a single trust. Probably have a lawyer set that up for me.
Oh, that's cool.
Mostly because as a shop, we have a lawyer who's actually kind of cool. I'll pay him to set me up with a trust. I'll name it something cool, like the ExtraAmo Gun Trust. Yeah? Go ahead and comment down below if that's a good trust name. But anyway, I'll do
Or
something
suggest different ones. That's okay too.
Oh, that'd be great as well. I love suggestions and comments and disagreements and agreements. Really, anything down in the comments. Share it with your friends and share it with your grandma. She doesn't know what she's doing on YouTube. She'll like anything. She'll subscribe to anything. So, like, if you got a couple grandmas, father's side, mother's side, like, have them both do it.
My meme subscribe to you.
That is awesome, man. She's cool.
So, see, this is her words. I'm going to quote her. He's a nice young man.
Wow. All right, so back to what I was saying.
Yeah.
The ability to do new things in this new website that they've come out with is actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
But the process is probably not going to change very much to the user. So,
That's nice.
To you, if you're using Silencer Shop or if you're going through a store, or there's even new tools that people are using. Cerberus Live Scan is something we're playing around with, which, I hate to like plug a weird thing, but it seems to escalate things a little bit, which I'm into. So
I'm excited to see it and see how it works.
So all of these methods that we used to use to submit are really kind of to the customer buying a can going to be very similar. You just won't have to fork up $200 or $205 at Silencer Shop for whatever reason. That's going to save some money, but not much is going to change. But if you are somebody who like goes into the eForms website, right, and like does Form 1. So Form 1, guys, is when you have a rifle or pistol and you want to make it into an SBR.
Yep.
Or you've got a shotgun, you want to make it into a short barrel shotgun, right? So doing that on the eForms website, I won't say it's complicated, but it's a website that doesn't really hold your hand, right? You kind of got to know what boxes to check. It's, I think somebody's got to like TurboTaxify it,
Well, what was it? A couple of years back when the ATF allowed you to Form 1 for free. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the pistol brace amnesty. Now, that was when the ATF had decided, because I guess they think they can, that AR pistols are really pistols in general that have a arm brace on them.
Yeah.
They said, oh, no. Even though we've been saying these are fine for years, we're now going to change our minds, even though millions of them have been sold, and we're going to say, hey, we've reclassified that as a short-barreled rifle, which means that millions of Americans, potentially, right, would then be felons overnight.
Yeah.
So they were like, okay, well, hold on a second. Don't worry. If you go ahead and give us all your information and go through this convoluted kind of hard-to-navigate website, then it's okay. I guess it's not dangerous anymore.
Yeah. Because,
again, if they're trying to regulate it because it's dangerous, right, it shouldn't be okay for us to go fill out a form on a website.
Yeah.
But the ATF said, you know what, that's good enough for us.
I went through, that was after I got my suppressor when that happened, if I remember my timelines correctly. And I remember, I'm sitting on the phone with my buddy, him and I are trying to figure it out. And, like, we had to do all this extra stuff. Like, I had to order special fingerprint cards, go to the police station, talk to the chief of police at the time when I lived in a different town than I do now. I was doing all this stuff, and in my head, I'm like, this is freaking stupid. I don't want to do this. Because, of course, I wasn't fully informed of how stuff worked yet. So I was worried about becoming a felon overnight. So I took my brace off.
Yeah, well...
But I didn't shoot my AR pistol for a while because until I got full confirmation, I think, when I came in to apply to work to here, I was talking to you about it or something like that. So I eventually put the brace back on because I was just like, I can't find anything that actually makes this a law where I would be arrested.
Well, the courts did tell the ATF that they were wrong about that, basically. And
they told them to go stuff it up, way.
They didn't exactly tell them that, but I really would like it if maybe they did.
But it was my whole point of that, was saying it was just complicated. Like,
yeah, it's a complicated website.
Him and I had to keep figuring it out together and also Googling it. I even called the chief of police of Yarmouth at the time where I was living, and I had to ask him. He had no idea.
Of course not.
He was just like, he's like, hold on, let me reach out to my resources. He sent out a couple of emails while I was on the phone with him, because I had to make an appointment with him anyway to get his approval, whatever, all this nonsense. And I'm like, I remember sitting there on the phone with him being like, this is kind of ridiculous. And then he's like, yeah, so why are you doing this? And I told him why, and he was just like, look, man, I'll be honest. I ain't going to come and arrest you.
Well, and that's the thing. And I want to be clear here. I don't particularly like some of these regulations, right?
Who does? Like, in reality.
Well, so I mean, the idea behind them is that they're trying to keep us safe, right? And I do, to a certain extent, understand why people are scared of machine guns. That's about it, right? Being scared of suppressors is silly. In fact, actually, and we're going to go off on a tangent here, guys, but bear with me. Suppressors are just devices for reducing harm to the operator. Okay? So what a lot of people don't realize is if you've got a short-barreled rifle caliber, right?
5.56.
Yeah, or that's an intermediate cartridge if we're going to be technical. But like if you've got a short-barreled .308, right, and you shoot that at an indoor range, the concussive force can harm you, and I'm not just talking about your hearing. There is a capacity with which your skull can stop pressure, right, before you're hitting your brain. So there are a lot of cases we're seeing where you can get TBIs from shooting guns at indoor ranges, right? Because the pressure's so high. It's not about, you can wear hearing protection. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is going through your skull.
Yeah.
And sometimes that'll actually still hit your ear and harm it, but sometimes it'll hit your brain and shake it to jelly.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So these are safety equipment, right? And then you look at short-barreled rifles. Well, it might be easier to conceal. It's also easier for somebody who's smaller of stature to use effectively, right? And I guess you could conceal it easier, but it is legal in most states to conceal pistols, to conceal revolvers, to conceal other handguns that you could already conceal, right? Yeah. Now, you could argue, okay, well, you're more effective with that. I would say that a civilian who is legally owning a firearm should be able to be as effective as possible. If not, we should pursue more effective use, because otherwise, if, God forbid, there's a scenario where they have to use that firearm to protect themselves, protect their family, you don't want them missing and harming someone else. So it kind of all falls apart. You look at a short-barrel shotgun. Oh, well, it's a sawed-off shotgun. Yeah, it's a shotgun that somebody who isn't, 200 pounds and jacked can actually use.
Yeah.
So there's justifications for all of these things just being normal guns. And what we've done is we've allowed Hollywood to, catastrophize the silencer. Oh, if you're in the next room, you're not going to hear it. And there are calibers that are like that, but almost none of them are, right? You really have to design around that. And even still, if, what are we, relying on the police, across town to hear? They're not hearing anyway, right? It's just sort of silly. So there's safety equipment, and we're regulating it. But I can understand machine guns. I can understand why people think machine guns are scary. However, I was recently digging into some data that indicates that when you actually have access to full auto firearms, if you are not regularly training with those full auto firearms, your ability to inflict harm is actually reduced. So, despite the fact that it's very, very scary that, Glock switches exist, there's a whole thing, California, all this other stuff. Won't get into it now.
No, that's a whole
It
nother
actually
podcast.
seems, at least the data that I was able to read, to indicate that actually reduces lethality. Because for people who aren't training regularly, right, it goes psh, and then they're missing, right?
Yeah.
They're shooting up in the air versus bang, 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 bang. You can kind of walk it in,
Yeah.
right, to getting that effect on target. So realistically, I don't see much logical, justification for the NFA to remain at all, right? And just a reminder for those, following along at home, the NFA was originally a means with which for us to ban all pistols for civilians. That was the plan. They were going to ban all handguns, all revolvers, anything that you could possibly carry.
Like the Swedes.
And then people went ahead and said, whoa, hold on. If we ban handguns, what's to keep somebody from taking a rifle and just cutting it down? So they said, all right, cool. We'll actually,
I never thought of that.
We'll have minimum barrel lengths, and we'll just reclassify all these things. We'll make all these rules, and then they tried to push it through. And then what ended up happening was the handgun ban. They were like, you can't do this. Like, this is what police use. This is what a citizen would use to defend themselves. We can't take the handgun ban. That's not going to happen. But they left in the whole NFA. So it stands on these crazy, just thin justifications to begin with. It's silliness. And, sorry, I've been talking for a while, but things changing to a $0 tax stamp actually lend itself to perhaps this going away. But what were you going to say?
No, it's adding to that. I just don't, I never understood when I first started getting into these why something like this, where I can see why somebody would think that a suppressor would be harmful and needs to be regulated. Whatever bullshit movie thing they believe, or
like in John Wick.
Yeah,
in a train station, you can be shooting it, and no one knows.
Can we talk about that real quick?
Absolutely.
First of all, you're gonna hear the slide. Okay, so like my greatest thing I like watching the other blah 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 English. Classic Firearms. They've done this twice in the latest 2 videos with suppressors. They will shoot it rapidly, fast. Then, big beefy guy, I forget his name, but he will hold the slide and shoot once because it's a different sound.
And why is there a different sound, Brayden?
That I don't know why. But
Port pop.
Cool.
When an action opens, right, you now have 2 avenues for gas to escape.
Because, B&T's Hush Puppy has that lock on the slide to not have the slide move back to get the port pop.
Yeah, sort of like was it Mark 23?
Yes.
So military 45 gun.
In that scene of John Wick, it drives me insane because there's like this girl walking beside John, and he's just, and I'm watching. I'm like, how is she not hearing that in port pop? Sorry, I'm swearing. I shouldn't be swearing.
Well,
but it's just like for instance, we shot our 300 blackouts, right? Subsonic. We can still we took our cans off once, did one shot, right? Because they were bolt actions at the time, because we were
we were dealing with some malfunctions.
It's still you hear that pull of the next round, drives me insane. But anyway, I never understood why these couldn't just be a standard background check like buying a firearm.
I mean, screw that. They should be accessories, okay? Because
I know.
And in most other countries, they are. But I get what you're saying.
But if we could get to the point where we get them down where I could still possibly leave with it same day, I hate the fact that they control it so much where I have to wait a certain amount of day, because some people like my MC8s here, I haven't shot yet because I'm doing a certain can on it. And with SIG MC8s, the Loctite they use on the muzzle devices, after I put a couple rounds to it, it's harder to take off. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. We don't have to get into it. But where I wish I could leave with this same day and my suppressor, that would be awesome. I'd be so happy. And I feel like the industry would move up that way. But obviously, like we talked about, demand would go up, all that stuff. But I just never understood why.
Well, I mean, and it's a lot of it's political, but there's more to it than that too. Because you say like, oh, it'd be great to leave this every day, and like we're into it, right? Mm-hmm. But then you talk about how I know so many people who try to get their spouses, their siblings, all of this into this community, and they just don't like it because it's loud. There's like dudes like loud things. Fine, if you're a macho dude, whatever. Like you want it to be loud. I like it to be quiet because like I don't like being rude to people around me, whether it's in an indoor range, whether it's my neighbors. Like I like things to be quiet, but like I guess there's like something cool. Oh wow, it's so loud, right? Most normal people have a aversion to shooting guns because of the volume. And to a certain extent, not just that volume, but the pressure as well. Yeah. There is a concussive force to shooting a gun. So when you hand somebody who is timid, who's been intimidated by firearms in the past, hand them a Suppress 22, a Suppress 9, my Kuna. I gotta mention it. I think legally every video at this point.
It is the symbol of the channel, isn't it not?
I don't know. It was the first video that actually did well because it was like the first video that wasn't me talking about myself. So
maybe I should FRT this.
We can definitely talk about it. But you hand somebody a suppressed thing, and they're just like, wow, okay, cool, I like shooting suddenly.
Yeah.
So when you look at that as the barrier to entry, you get that as a first-time firearms buyer. You just get that as the accessory, and suddenly you have a path into this where you can go and train, and you're not getting that same sort of aversion to this. I mean, I would contend that makes things better. I mean, it makes things safer, right? If you're going to train more frequently, that's better. But we were talking about the idea of this tax tank going away, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not a lawyer, but my understanding of certain Supreme Court cases is that the NFA was actually upheld in court because it's not a registry of firearms or suppressors or short-barreled rifles. It's actually a registry of people who have paid a tax. Because registries for firearms have been federally found unconstitutional over and over again. So the question I have, the question a lot of people have is, hold on. Now that it, come January, is $0, is the NFA even going to be around anymore?
I mean, I honestly don't see the point.
Well, I mean, if all you're doing is registering a firearm, then it's an illegal registry.
Yeah.
If all you're doing is registering a tax, and the tax is $0, then what's the point? Mm-hmm. Now, there's a lot of different ways that this can be fought back and forth, but I think, if I'm going to relay any information or any sentiment to anybody, it's that you got to understand, like, the NFA was bad when it was instituted. It was trying to ban all handguns. And then they had to do this convoluted thing. And remember, guys, they said 18 inches. 18 inches is how short a rifle could ever be, or a shotgun. God. And then the federal government sold tons of M1 carbines at 16 inches. They're like, oh, damn, we just made ourselves and potentially a ton of civilians felons, so let's just change the rules. 16 inches, that's fine. Right? It's arbitrary on its face.
They deleted the email and then rewrote it.
Yeah, exactly. They like brought it into Photoshop and were like changed the date it was sent. Like, yeah, I emailed you. Oh, you didn't get it?
The digital 80s whiteout.
Yeah, there you go. But that's the thing. They play these games. And my point here is not to say, hey, this bad law, it has to go away. My point is that a lot of people, I don't think there's many people alive that, could even remember a time where these were not highly regulated, kind of scary things. Yeah. Oh, those are from assassins. Those are for movies. Those are, what is that? All of these suppressors do is reduce operator harm.
Yeah.
Now, there are benefits to that, right? Sweet to go out without hearing protection. Great, right? It's awesome that your neighbors don't have to get woken up in the middle of the night if you're using a 22 to take out the raccoons so they don't kill the chickens, right? Like, all of those are benefits, but realistically, it's reducing operator harm. And when we talk about short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, right, that allows us to use modern technology to make firearms that are compatible with smaller people.
Yeah.
And I hate to use it, but like female officers, right? Female people in the armed forces, who can't do the gun that's 20 pounds the same way your stereotypical jacked 200-pound dude can, right? I'm not jacked. You're
Beanpole.
a little bit, but not so much jacked, right? It sucks that these guns are long,
Heavy.
right? Heavy, and realistically, with the technology we have now, the modern rifle is short, right? Every military is moving to something that is shorter than 16 inches that I know of. And hey, if you disagree or you know somebody else, go down in the comments, let me know. But as far as I know, the new, we could go back to the 90s, the M4s that were cutting down to below 16 inches, right? So it's, there's been a long time where we've decided that these are just how you make modern weapons.
It really too is it's the purpose. It's really the purpose that adds to it too. Like, we talk about them a good amount of times, you and me, but like GBRS group. When was the last time you saw any of them make a video about a 16-inch gun? 11.5, 12.5, 10.5. Like, they're talking about themselves using all shorter barrel rifles. Like, unless you're like the marksman or whatever you want to call yourself, 16-inch, 18-inch, whatever. But everyone, like, if you look at anyone who talks about guns, who has had military experience, they all talk about as soon as you're past the infantry or whatever the beginning stages of your military career are. Like my buddy who's Air Force, he ran a 16-inch all through boot camp. As soon as he moved up, he was shorter, 11.5. That's what he had. That's what they gave him. It really definitely is like all over the place, but I don't know. I liked how the 11.5 feels in my hands. I feel comfortable with it. I can feel like I can move well with it. I can, even with all my accessories on it, it's not that heavy, right? But I have a 16-inch precision rifle. Like we have one behind us here. Precision rifle. That one. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I built that. That's good. That's
10 pounds.
Anyways, actually, as you could figure, it's probably closer to 12. It's got a very heavy optic, offset red dot, bipod, all sorts of things.
So, like, that's the standard, right?
Yeah, well, now, and so that's a good point. So, a couple of things. You like GBRS Group, and I bought a fair number of their products, but I'm not a hugest fan. I haven't drunk the Kool-Aid.
I haven't drunk the Kool-Aid either. I just use them as an example.
But you're absolutely right. Like the modern zeitgeist, if you will, is a big word, right? Is definitely for shorter things. Yeah. And a lot of that comes to engagement distances, right? If you're clearing inside, you want shorter, right? You also are now pairing most firearms with a suppressor in the military application, and not just for quietness, guys. In fact, the big reason that I've been told the military is switching to all suppressed is actually reducing operator harm.
Yeah,
right? Reducing that cancer, reducing the hearing damage. All of it is being reduced. It's not to be some assassin to whisper quiet, right? It is to try to.
Wait, hold on. You're telling me I put a suppressor on my Walther 32 special and I'm not James Bond quiet?
Well, actually, that's actually a really good round to suppress, but perhaps not.
You heard it, folks. I'm basically like James Bond.
Do you have one of those?
No.
No, because
they didn't know that.
Because I have a 380 Beretta that is like dope with a 9mm suppressor on it. That is awesome. Because 380, like 45 or other calibers, it's just naturally subsonic, so it's just actually a great round to suppress, and no one ever does. Anywho's, 16-inch barrels, as you were mentioning there, is that sort of the like precision built. And honestly, I've seen 16, and I've seen 14.5, and I've seen 13.7 being more common, not just because you can get to that 16 with a pin and weld or whatever, but because the heavier, more precise loadings actually run and stabilize better in shorter and shorter barrels.
Yeah.
So, it's, the days of the 20-inch precision barrel they don't carry over to modern loadings of cartridges all the time. Of course, there are exceptions to everything, and there's a different cartridge coming out every week. So I'm generalizing here, but, and then you look at, civilian use cases, right? Who's shooting in a home defense, civilian, you can talk civil unrest, all right, fine, collapse of society, that's a whole other category. But if you're talking, just defending your home, right?
Yeah.
Even if things get bad but aren't crazy, well, you're not going to be reaching out that far, right? So the barrel length requirements are not great, and you get heavier projectiles, which generally lend themselves to working well in shorter barrels. And it kind of changes the whole thing.
It's also, too, clearing my house with an 11.5 is easier than clearing it with my 16-inch with my additional 4-inch. No, I have the full-size rotated suppressor on that one, so that's another 5-inch.
5 inches short for a suppressor. I think you might be underestimating.
Am I underestimating?
Absolutely.
I'm looking at my cheat wall of our suppressor
So some of the shortest suppressors are in, especially for 5.56.
It's the full-size rugged suppressor, the Razor.
Oh, that's got to be 6 inches.
Is that 6? I can't remember.
Somewhere between 5 and 7 inches, for sure. For sure.
Like, do the math there, though. What's 16 plus, we'll say 6, right?
Right, so then you're a 22-inch barrel, right?
And I'm trying to clear my house with that?
Well, I mean, and the I know that the old vets will always say, well, we did it with M16s, back in, I don't know, Nam or whatever.
Yes, the trees speak to me, Andrew.
Yeah, well. And there's things you can do, and there's actually tactics to using a long rifle inside. There's going over your shoulder. There are ways in which you can use a longer rifle in short. Close quarters, I guess you would say. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think we have to convince anybody watching this that a short-barreled firearm is beneficial, or a short-barreled shotgun, or any of those things. I also think that it's another thing to note here is when you talk about, the scary stuff, you got, bad guys using these firearms, right? The argument is always, well, concealability is a problem. But almost all of the statistical mass shootings are with proper handguns. And those are very concealable. And you look at, a couple instances of an AR pistol or something, being deployed from a bag. And my response is always, all right, cool, like, these things exist. If you're willing to break the laws, you can have them anyway, right? All I've got to do is swap out a brace for a stock. I'm a criminal, but if I'm about to go harm people, I'm going to be a criminal anyway, right? So I can have that. So then if we're talking about capabilities and functionality available to the bad guys, I'm over here like, well, if the good guys have got a backpack, they can have that too. And I see how hard it is for the people in my life that are smaller of stature, women and whatnot, to shoot longer, heavier guns. And I wish it was easier for me to, give them some of the more custom fit firearms. And, a lot of people say, all right, cool, we'll just go ahead and go through the process. Pay the $200. What's so bad about that? But you got to remember here, guys, short-barreled shotguns, short-barreled rifles, well, you can't really leave the state with them.
Nope.
So, it's not just the payment. So we're not just gaining, the access, right? We're actually changing, potentially how we look at these things and maybe regulate them going forward. My hopes are that the entirety of the NFA is abolished, because
I would like to go to a Ridgeline course with you with that.
Sure.
But
Ridgeline is in New Hampshire, guys.
Yeah, sorry.
Not to show for them, but
it's out of state, so I won't be able to.
Not without filling out paperwork in advance, getting permission in advance,
Isn't
and
it
let's
like
hope
6 months in advance, or is it a year?
It's about it's
something
within
ridiculous.
a year. It's within a calendar year, and you have to give them addresses And my understanding is, and I've only filled this out a couple times, but generally speaking, if you are not specific enough, it is declined. Yeah. And if you do not get assigned to the right ATF person, you might not get a response at all, which means you don't have permission, which is a darn shame.
Send them I'll just share location.
Yeah, that's not good. I would not do that. Not that they don't have it at the government.
NSA.
All right. So, suppressor. The tax stamp is going to 0 in January.
I'm excited, but also cautious.
For sure. You and I are in agreement that don't wait if you're picking up your first one or picking up another one for January. This could lead to some huge changes in this space, which is very exciting. And I think that, all of us should just really try to internalize. This is not deregulating arms. Yeah. This is allowing safety equipment to be accessible to people who would otherwise never have access to it. Mm-hmm. I mean, think about it. We think about having to do a background check for wearing, earmuffs. Yeah. Right? Everyone would just go out, they'd hunt, they'd damage their hearing. That's really what we're doing here. So, that's a benefit. And if you're scared of the other things being deregulated, understand that, for criminals, they already have these. They already have it. So making it available to
home version of it.
Yeah. Again, we have the problem with Glock switches, right? Every single Glock that is converted to fully automatic, that's a felony to do that, right? There's already a crime there. I always say, whenever I end up...
I knew I'd get him.
And with that, I have been Andrew.
I have been Brayden.
This has been the ExtraAmo Podcast. And thank you for coming to our Lead Talk.
Real quick before you move on to the next video, stay tuned. We have another video coming out at some point in time, possibly, and you should check out our other videos.
Yes, indeed. And subscribe. I like, when you hit that little bell icon, you can actually click it again, and then you can go down and you can turn notifications on.
For everything.
Yes, and then you can like the video as well.
Yes.
And then you can actually even share the video with your friends. Now, I get it. It's gun content. But, think about it. You're really supporting a grassroots small business.
If you can't share it with your friends and it's gun content and they don't like it, are they really your friends?
Well, they might be your friends. Probably not good friends.
Yeah. I wouldn't say besties, or I guess the new term in this updated world is a pookie. I heard pookie is a thing.
All right, guys. So we're gonna cut here, but it's been real. It's been fun. It has perhaps not been real fun, but tune in next time, and we'll keep putting out stuff. Perhaps even before this video, there's other stuff that we're thinking is in the future, but is actually in the past. Wrap your head around that, ladies and gents. All right.
Y'all have a wonderful night.
Good night.
Yeah. Subscribe to the channel. This better be the end credits, the boopers. ExtraAmo Podcast.